Hello, welcome to the FM21 A-League Rundown. Come in and make yourself comfortable. Each week here on YouTube and Football Manager 21, we look back over the events, results, news and transfer gossip happening in the Mariners' massive universe. As is traditional, we begin with Adelaide United, and the Reds overcame Western Sydney Wanderers at Bankwest Stadium with Tommy Jurich bagging a hat-trick, a perfect rating of 10.0 for a player that's now scored 11 goals in 17 appearances. The Socceroos striker described here in this report as a 29-year-old nomadic striker. Not entirely sure whether that's a compliment or not. Ryan Kitto has picked up a groin injury. That's going to keep him out for 5 weeks, it looks like. Joe Coletti, meanwhile, has gone on loan to Oakley Cannons. And Carl Vert has made an offer to sign Brisbane's Jai Ingham at the end of the campaign. The Reds are also in for Brazilian goalkeeper Ulson, a 26-year-old. He could come in to provide some competition for the likes of James Delenioff in the Cooper Stadium goal. Brisbane Roar prevailed over Newcastle Jets by a score of 1-0. Scott McDonald with the decisive strike in the 15th minute, and thankfully for the veteran forward, VAR gave the all clear at Dolphin Stadium. It's been a really quiet week for the Roar, it has to be said, with the big news, Connor Kane signing as a scout, which pretty much says it all as far as what's happening there with Brisbane. Not very much doing. Ourselves, the Central Coast Mariners, we defeated, or should I say, demolished Western United by a score of 4-0 in Gosford. Daniel De Silva, Dylan Ruiz Diaz, and 2 goals from Matty Simon, seeing off Mark Redan's green and black. Our move for Ulysses Davila from Wellington Phoenix has been approved. Our application for a work permit has been accepted. Now, given the long-term injury suffered by Jack Clisby, he's actually probably going to be out for the rest of the season, to be honest, days after signing a new 4-year contract. We have made offers to a variety of fullbacks in Lewis Fenton, who's available on a free transfer. He must have been released earlier in the season. Sam Phillip and Dylan Murnane. He's currently our favourite at the minute for the position. He's here on trial, and his stats look pretty good. Sort of an all-rounder, really. Lots of 12s, 11s. There's something to build on there. And perhaps he could be the man to come in to take up the mantle from Jack Clisby. After being rejected by myself, MacArthur FC have hired Oakley Cannons boss Chris Taylor as their new head coach. Second mention of the rundown for Oakley Cannons there. Well played. The Bulls, however, lost their game this weekend to Melbourne Victory. Goals from Saseta, who has scored this weekend against Western United, and Matt Derbyshire, curiously also on the score sheet. Not enough to secure 3 points at Amy Park. There'll be more on that game later. Melbourne City will lose influential captain Scott Jamieson at the end of the season. He's off to Western Sydney Wanderers. City have made an approach to sign Argentinian winger Carlos Luque on a free transfer. Now, previously he has played in Brazil, Argentina, Uruguay, Spain and Honduras. So very much a well-travelled winger. The Citizens salvaged a 3-3 draw from a position of 3-1 down at HBF Park against Perth Glory. Royston Griffiths with a goal on the half hour, and Adrian Luna contributed 2 goals late on, as you can see, although there was plenty of action, including a offside goal for Harrison Delbridge. Plenty of bookings as well being shared around between the two sides. Melbourne Victory are up into third on the A-League ladder with a win against MacArthur FC. Apparently, the Champions League reckoning they're part of now. Callum McManaman scoring a 15-minute hat-trick either side of half-time. Victory are now fielding multiple loan offers for young Brandon Loughton, but they have now brought in Green Gully goalkeeper Jared Tyson. He rejected moves both to Western Sydney Wanderers and Adelaide United. Patrick Kisnorbo was at Dolphin Stadium to watch Rami Najareen, who is on loan, of course, from Melbourne City. He plays for Newcastle Jets at the moment. Now, they suffered a 1-0 defeat to Brisbane Roar. And again, it's another quiet week here in the Hunter. Not much happening, despite, it has to be said, stories coming out criticising the Hoff. Jason Hoffman as being past his best. I'm not having that at all. The Hoff is a utility man who can basically play anywhere on the pitch. In the past few seasons, we've seen him play up front, in defence, wide in midfield. And the suggestion that Scott Miller would be better served bringing in one of his younger players seems like a slap in the face to somebody who has given quite a lot to the A-League and to Newcastle Jets. I'm not having that at all. I think that's a disgrace. Now, I appear to have accidentally stoked the fires at Perth Glory over a transfer saga involving Liam Reddy. Basically, he's been put on the transfer list by Tony Vidmar, the new boss with the Glory, having replaced Richard Garcia. Thankfully, though, I'm not the only one, because Yufi Talai has been speaking basically on my behalf. Good of him to do that. He's backing me up there, saying that if Liam Reddy were available, he might go in for him, which is a bit of an exclusive here on the rundown. Now, a move for Daniel Mullen has fallen through, but former Sydney FC winger David Carney has now made his debut for Perth as they drew with Melbourne City. Their scorers on that day being Daniel Steins, Andy Keogh, the quiet man, and Osama Malik. There you go. Carney, a new signing with the Glory. So perhaps Daniel Mullen's transfer couldn't go through because they were bringing in the former Sky Blue. Speaking of which, Sydney FC have signed former Wanderers goalkeeper Daniel Lopar, the 35-year-old, on 1.1k a week. Has been without a club for some time now. He's been signed basically as competition for Andrew Redmayne. Although I have to say, they were also in for Argentinian goalkeeper Nirio Champagne. That's probably not how you pronounce it, but they have asked for a work permit for him, which is due to be determined in 5 days, so we'll know by next week's rundown whether that was successful. But it seems very strange that you'd bring in 2 goalkeepers within the space of a week. Bit odd. Richard Winbickler, a defender, is awaiting a work permit to sign for the Sky Blues. Now, he turned down a move to Brisbane Roar and Adelaide United as well. Formerly with Melbourne City, I believe. He could be on his way to Sydney FC. Tom Heward-Bell, he is on his way to Manly United on loan. So that's somewhere that he can look forward to. He is a goalkeeper, so that does sort of suggest they are clearing the decks there. Steve Corica clearly unhappy. Although, if you look at the stat down the bottom right on the screen, Sydney FC have one of the meanest defences in the A-League, conceding just 18 goals in 17 matches. So why would you sign 2 goalkeepers? Just doesn't really make sense. In any event, Sydney FC, sorry, I should have said, they are managerless at the minute. Steve Corica has been sacked, of course. So perhaps there's a lack of leadership at the top there. They lost 1-0 to Wellington Phoenix under the stewardship of caretaker boss Robbie Stanton, not doing his chances of getting the top job any good there. Wellington Phoenix had Josh Sotirio to thank for that win over Sydney FC. Now, they've obviously seen Ulysses de Villa sign for the Mariners, but in good news, Reno Piscopo is now expressing his doubts about leaving the club. So previously he expressed doubts about remaining at the club. Now he's quite happy to have a change of heart, and he will be remaining with the Knicks, it looks like. So good news for the team from across the ditch. Western Sydney Wanderers have been busy in the transfer market, having sealed a deal for Scott Jamieson from Melbourne City. Wanderers have also submitted contract offers for Matt Miller from Newcastle Jets and out of contract Michael Maria, formerly of Adelaide United. So it does seem that once you're in the A-League, you may come back, as we've seen with the likes of Daniel Lopar at Sydney FC and indeed Richard Wynn-Bigler. Reinforcements might be needed, if we're honest, as they crashed to a 3-2 defeat against Adelaide United. So James Troisi's former side coming back to haunt the Wanderers. Goals for Western Sydney came from Bernie Ibini and Graham Dorrans, but it wasn't enough at Cooper Stadium, I believe. At Bank West that game was. Now, Mark Rudan's Western United were humbled 4-0, as previously mentioned, by the Central Coast Mariners. But they are hoping to sign MacArthur's Dennis Jeanreau on loan. He's only made one start in the A-League this season, several substitute appearances, so perhaps he will be available to just bolster the ranks in the green and black. In terms of the league table itself, Central Coast Mariners maintain a 6-point advantage over Wellington Phoenix. The Knicks just keep picking up points. It's so difficult at the moment with them every single week. I think they're on a run of at least 5 wins in succession. Ufi Talai really doing the business there. Melbourne Victory, as mentioned before, up to third now, ahead of their big blue rivals, Sydney FC, which was a washout this weekend. Unfortunately, the game not taking place. Perth Glory remain rooted to the foot of the table. They've now got 7 points on the board, but they sit 6 shy of Newcastle Jets in 11th. In terms of the upcoming fixtures, Friday night football is from Adelaide United, Cooper Stadium, traditional really on a Friday for Adelaide to be involved. They play against Sydney FC. Perth Glory against Western United on Saturday. The Mariners, ourselves, we have an F3 derby against Newcastle Jets, and then it's Wellington Phoenix versus MacArthur on Sunday to round out the weekend's football. So do join me on Thursday when we'll have a look at our game against Newcastle Jets, a local derby. Let's see if the Mariners can just extend our lead at the top, because with the Knicks only playing on Sunday, that might just ramp up the pressure on our rivals. You can see there on the table on the right, our goal difference is double what it is for the Knicks, showing just how good we've been in front of goal. That 4-0 win against Western United obviously helping matters there. Thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you on Thursday.